Salvete omnes. In this lesson, we will begin to tackle the past tense. Just like in English, there are two different types of past tense in Latin, but they're different from English. They're called the imperfect and perfect tense. The perfect tense refers to actions that were completed in the past, and the imperfect refers to continuous actions and habitual actions in the past. But don't worry so much about what that means for now. Do you remember how to say, the farmer works in the field? Agricola in agro laborat. Now here's the past tense. Agricola in agro laborabat. To form the imperfect past tense, we slip a BA in front of the T and lengthen the A before the BA. So laborat becomes laborabat. Every verb follows this pattern, which means that every verb in the imperfect past tense conjugates just like an ARE verb, as you can see in the following table. The only difference is that the first person ending becomes BAM instead of BO or something like that. So we have laborabam, laborabas, laborabat, laborabamas, and laborabant. Since this is the imperfect tense, it signifies that the action is incomplete. So the sentence, Agricola in agro laborabat, can mean either the farmer used to work or the farmer was working, up until a certain point in time. Try to say now, I used to live here. Hic habitabam. And what does this sentence mean? Gladium habebam. I used to have a sword. You see what happened here? Habere gets a long E before the BA. And scribere has a short E, but it still gets a long E in the imperfect past tense. So what does this mean? Epistulas scribebas. You used to write letters. And verbs with a long I, like dormire, also get a long E, but they also keep a short I. Discipuli dormiebant. The students were sleeping. The context, or sometimes just the meaning, will make it clear whether to use used to sleep or were sleeping. And how would we say, I used to read books? Libros legebam. So to summarize, here's a table containing the various conjugations. As you would expect, the verb to be is irregular in the past tense, but not terribly so. It's just er followed by the conjugation we just learned. So it's eram, eras, erat, eramus, erant. This is much easier than the present tense, where we had sum and sumus and so forth. The imperfect of to be is used for descriptions, because we consider that they continue over a period of time or into the present, and hence are incomplete. If you add the prefix in to the second word here, you may be able to guess the next sentence. Poeta ebrius erat. The poet was inebriated. How would we say, were you shy? Erasne timidus? And in the story we will see the following sentence. Olim corvus erat. Olim is the Latin version of once upon a time, and corvus is the Latin for crow or raven, and hence is the name of their genus in English. So this means, once upon a time there was a crow. And as a reminder, when we say what we can do, or have the potential to do, we add pot to the appropriate conjugation of the Latin for to be. So he or she could would be poterat. So this sentence means, discipulus non legere poterat. The male student wasn't able to read. And try to say, I could not sleep. Dormire non poteram. Look at the next sentence. Corvi volare poterant. Crows can fly. The word for fly is a little strange because I fly is wallow. This is the same as the word for I want. The rest of the conjugation is different though, so we only have to be careful about the first person case. But we will see both words in past tense in the story. Try to say, the crow was flying. Corvus volabat. And what does this mean? Porcus volare volebat. The pig wanted to fly. One way to tell these words apart is that a volatile substance sends parts of itself flying out, and a benevolent person wants to be kind. So, volabat is the past tense of to fly, and volebat is the past tense of to want. Another word we will need for the story is satis. If you are satisfied, you have enough. The word satis in Latin means enough. Now, if we want to say enough water in Latin, we can't just use word order as you may have guessed. But if we say, I have enough of water, that seems to mean the same thing as I have enough water. And remember, the genitive can mean both John's book or Book of John. So how would we say enough water or enough of water? Satis aquae. Aquae is the genitive form of aqua, and also the dative in plural if you recall. And can you guess what this means? Look at the first 5 letters. Satis temporis. Enough time. The time signature in music tells you the tempo. The stem is tempor, but the nominative form is tempus. So how do we say time flies? Tempus volat. Virgil said the same thing, but with a little bit different wording. Tempus fugit. There's another similar statement. Tempus volat, ora fugit. Time flies, the hour flees. We don't actually use the word tempus when we ask what time it is in Latin. If you know a Romance language, this should be familiar. But in Latin we ask, quota hora est? What time is it? Or literally, what hour is it? We will also need to know the following word for the story, vas, which means vase or vessel. And note also that this word has the same nominative and accusative form. They are both vas. For the story, we will also need to understand the following phrase. Dum volabat corvus vas vidit. Let's break this down. Dum means while, and vidit is the perfect past tense of vidit. We will be covering the perfect past tense in later lessons, but we need to introduce this word to demonstrate this construction. So the verb that interrupts the other verb is in the perfect tense because it happens once. It's the complete action. And the continuous verb, the one that gets interrupted, is in the imperfect tense. It's incomplete. So this phrase means, while it was flying, the crow saw a vase. We will see more of this construction later, but for now let's start the story, which is adapted from Aesop's Fables. Olim corvus erat, et hic corvus aquam bibere volebat. Dum volabat corvus vas vidit. Erat aqua in vase, sed satis aquae non erat, et corvus non bibere poterat. Okay, we'll continue this story in the next lesson with more past tense practice. See you then. On Patreon, each story is consolidated in a single downloadable audio file, together with a full transcript and English translation. The example sentences used in each lesson are also included. There's a link below. Gracias!